They say in life, there are three types of people: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what the heck just happened. Think about that for a minute. You know, to be successful in life, you need to make things happen. Well, on today's What Do We Do podcast, we're going to help you make more in 2024. So hit the like button, subscribe, and let's go. Welcome back to another episode of the What Do We Do podcast. I'm your host, Dewey Stephan, and this is the first episode of the new year. So we've decided to call it Making More in 2024. And on this episode, we're going to give you the top 5 financial tips to start off the new year the right way. And I'm going to start by asking you, is it a new year, same you? Or new year, new you? So let's get into it right now. And as we said in the intro, there are basically 3 types of people out there: those that make things happen, those that watch things happen, and those that wonder what the heck just happened. Does that make sense? Well, if you don't know what's going on, that's a problem, my friends. And so to be successful in life, you need to be a person that makes things happen. So now that it's a new year and the champagne has fizzed, all the glitter has been swept up, it's time for the new year resolutions. And we're gonna go to the new year financial resolution of getting yourself set up to make more in 2024. And for this show, rather some major resolutions that will set you up for disappointment, we're going to give you 5 financial tips that are manageable, that you can absolutely execute. So go ahead and grab your notebook and pen, your tablet or recording device, get a hot cup of cocoa, and let's go. Tip number 1, we're calling this the budget reboot. Every year, if you have a budget already set up, go ahead, dust it off, and look at it and get ready to make adjustments to it. If you don't have a budget, this is the time to start a budget and get on track for 2024. I want you all to think about your budget as your financial roadmap, and it's very, very simple. All you need to do is take a look at your salary or income and then minus your expenses and other responsibilities. If your expenses and other responsibilities are larger than your salary and income, that means you have a negative budget or a negative living expense, and that's not what we're trying to achieve. You need to live within your means, live within your budget. So start very simply by figuring out, do you make more than you spend? And if you do, great. Then figure out what to do with the excess. But if you spend more than you make, we need to trim some of that fat, cut some of it out, and get on budget. Okay, and at the end of the day, you do need to come in under budget. So whatever your budget, please make sure those expenses are less than your income on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, and certainly annual basis, so you have the best chance for success. Good luck with your budget. Fast fact, the 50-30-20 budget rule says that 50% of your income should go to your needs, 30% of your income goes to your wants, and 20% of your income goes to your savings or debt repayment. This is a simple yet effective budget. Tip number 2, delete bad debt. On this show, we used to say deal with debt, and we certainly think you do need to still deal with debt. However, with interest rates as high as they are, you now need to delete bad debt. get rid of it altogether. In 2024, let's make this a priority. We'll call it the debt dragon. Let's slay the debt dragon. And how do we do that? Well, we look at our debt, and again, the highest interest debt is the worst debt. So maybe that's credit card debt, other revolving lines of credit debt. If they're 25%, 30% or higher, you need to pay those off immediately. And if you have anything that's 20%, 15%, you also need to consider paying it off. Anything really above 5% is considered bad debt. An example for you of how you can delete bad debt would be the following, and it's pretty darn simple. If you have $1,000 in the bank in a checking account earning $0, or $1,000 in your pocket earning $0, all you have is $1,000. But if you have $1,000 on a credit card at 25% interest, that's $250 at the end of the year in interest. So now you have $1,250 of debt, and you still have only $1,000 of assets. So don't let that happen. Take your $1,000 from your pocket, from your checking account, and pay off that debt. That saves you $250, and that's real money. And if for some reason you have debt and it's insurmountable, or you don't have enough in your checking account or in your pocket to pay it all off, take baby steps. A little bit at a time is better than nothing at all. So take what you can and pay it towards that debt, and before you know it, you'll be debt-free. Fast fact, paying off your debt can actually help you sleep better. Studies show that if you pay off your debt, you are less stressed and you have a better night's sleep. So, sweet dreams and financial freedom, here we go. Tip number 3, make an emergency fund. Well, we recently went through COVID, and not too long ago was the financial crisis of 2008. And those were certainly times when people needed additional monies to pay their bills and survive. And rather than pull your money out of other investment vehicles or borrow on your credit card or other places, if you have an emergency fund set up for whatever your emergency is going to be, you're going to be in great shape. So, on average, you should keep 3 to 6 months of emergency expenses in a high-yield savings account or money market and have it sit there until you need it. And if you don't need it, you'll be making good interest on it anyway. And one little caveat to the emergency fund is, please don't think that you'll be able to pull money from your investment account or take money out of your credit card as a cash advance when you have that emergency, because guess what? You'll be paying 25% or higher interest borrowing on your credit card, and if you take it out of your investment accounts, odds are you're taking it out while those things have dropped as well. So you're actually doing double damage. Fast fact, if you have $5,000 a month of living expenses and you put 6 months away in an emergency fund, that's $30,000. And if you can get 5% interest in a high-yield savings account or money market, that will make you $1,500 after a year. Tip number 4, retirement review. In 2024, let's make sure we check out our 401ks, 403bs, Roth IRAs, and traditional IRAs to make sure we have a plan to max them out during the year. Figure out how much you need to put away per month to get there. And if you need to put small pieces away at a time, that's a good strategy as well. Fast fact, for 2024, the IRS has upped how much you can put in to your 401ks and 403bs by $500, maxing them out at $23,000 by year end. And if you're eligible for a catch-up provision, that's another $7,500, bringing your total to $30,500. Tip number 5 for 2024 is what we call automated advantage. What does that mean? Well, that means take all of your expenses and set them up for auto pay. And what does that mean for your investments? Go ahead and set those up for auto invest. If you want to avoid late fees and you set your accounts up for auto pay, there you go. And if you want to make sure you get to the max on your 401ks, 403bs, or IRAs, just have an auto draft happen every month and you'll be sure to get to where you want to go. Fast fact, according to shiftprocessing.com, the average American has credit card debt of $5,910. And according to bankrate.com, the same American has interest at 27.80 on that credit card. That's not a booyah, that's a boo-hoo. Well, there you have it. 5 financial tips to help you kickstart 2024. And please remember, it's not about making big wholesale changes to your life. It's little steps along the way, repeated over and over, that will help you with long-term success. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the What Do We Do podcast. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please give us a like, give us a subscribe, share it with friends, leave a comment, because as we always say, together, everyone achieves more. And as we like to wrap up the show, live your best life, be radically generous, a great big booyah to ya. And this has been 5 financial tips for 2024, but we're just getting started.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or any specific security. It's only intended to provide education about the financial industry. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Any indices referenced for comparison are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. As always, please remember investing involves risks and possible loss of principal capital. Please seek advice from a licensed professional.